All right, so today we're talking about confidence maxing. Now, for those of you who are like, oh man, you just making up words now, man. What's that? Bro, screw it. I don't care. We doing it. Confidence maxing is basically like looks maxing or maxing, whatever you want to call it. It's basically getting your confidence to the highest peak you can possibly get it at. And I'm going to be showing you 3 ways how to do it. Now, if you choose to do these 3 ways, some of y'all might be doing some of them already, but hey, I got to add a few. Come on, I got to help you. Don't hate the player, hate the game when you hear these. But first up, we got combat sports. Bro, I don't care what anyone says. Combat sports will always be one of the ways. Now, granted, some of y'all are like, oh, the gym though. The gym's cool. You should also add the gym in with combat sports. That's what Mike Tyson did. Mixed martial artists, boxers, jiu-jitsu guys do. But you have to add in that combat sports. You can't just go to the gym and expect to be super confident. Those guys, most of the dudes who are nothing but bodybuilders who think that they can beat up guys on the street just because they're 260, not saying no names, but those guys can't fight. And a lot of those guys are very insecure. More insecure than you think they are, and that's nothing against bodybuilders. But combat sports builds some of the greatest character you can think of. First of all, you're gonna be bad when you start off. So when you start off, your first 10 matches, you're gonna lose. Whether it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whether it's MMA as a whole, whether it's boxing, you're gonna get your butt whooped. That's gonna build character. You're gonna show up to more class. You're gonna be like, hey, I gotta learn. And then you gotta keep in mind, the natural selection is gonna kick in. There's gonna be a few people who give up, and that's going to weed out the losers. That's going to get rid of all the soft dudes. And hey, nothing against y'all, but y'all gave up on me. And then there's going to be that few group of guys who are going to stay, get their butt whooped a little more, maybe, see some success, and then continue to get their butt whooped, and then see some success, then see some success. You ain't going to come out in your first match looking like Bruce Lee. You ain't going to come out in your first match looking like John Jones, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Conor McGregor, whoever you want to marshal after. But if you continue to go, be consistent with it, figure out how to add it to your gym routine, because you got to keep in mind, it's like a cardio. You really have to go to a class twice a week. If I would have known this earlier, like before I even started martial arts, I would have been in martial arts dang near a year before I even started. Maybe even like 5 years before I even started. I probably would have been boxing as like a young jit. I feel like max potential I would have started maybe at like 14. But hey, we don't live in the past around here. So yeah, because I started when I was 20, there were certain things that I wasn't able to pick up at a quicker rate and learn. But that character build is so important. And once you get to the point where you start beating dudes who've been there longer, or at least giving them a challenge, bro, the confidence is gonna go up. And then you become like able to like teach it to people who don't do it at all. Bro, like you can't want the instant gratification so bad to where you just forget everything. Like it's like me with this YouTube thing. I get upset when sometimes my views ain't really going stupid crazy, but I have to remind myself that it's like a learning process and I'm gonna learn over time, because that's how life works. Y'all don't think I get upset with certain things that I don't know? Y'all don't think I compare myself to people? Everyone has small bits of insecurities, but you gotta act on them. A lot of y'all know y'all want to do mixed martial arts. A lot of y'all know y'all want to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of y'all know y'all want to take a boxing class. Not only is it great cardio, but it builds that inner self. And then also you got to think about it. You can't take your gun everywhere, man. And you can't use your gun at any point. For example, I live in Texas, easily a top 5 gun-friendly state. And even here in Texas, with a stand your ground law, you can't just pull out your gun on a dude who throws a punch at you. Has to be met with equal force. And the grand jury is not gonna let you slide by saying you were scared for your life because he could fight and you couldn't. So why not at least learn some things to be able to self-defend yourself, at least until you're in a better situation? That's what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. Why do you think so many law enforcement academies teach people Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Back when I lived in Florida, the BJJ gym I went to taught law enforcement for free, local law enforcement. Whether it was Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach. It's such an underrated skill to learn. And here's the thing, you don't have to be super into it. You don't have to go every day. You don't have to make it your personality. Bro, just learn simple things, man. But anyways, yeah, I'm off that. Hey, if you want to just keep going to the gym and claim that you can beat anybody up because you're super big, you're swole, and none of that matters in the street, or I see red when I get angry, so I know I can fight. Hey, you know what? Keep that. You do you. Next up, we got your fashion. Now, this is just basically clothes. I'm not saying you got to dress like the drippiest nigga on the planet, looking like Shea Gillis Alexander or Russell Westbrook or Cam Newton, you know. Bro, your fit, it says something about your personality. And I tell people all the time, the best fit to rock if you don't know what to really wear to get your swag up, plain black shirt, black jeans, and get like a nice pair of white shoes from like Ross, bro. It's gonna add like just literally just the simplest form of swag. And you got to keep in mind, you started doing combat sports and you know you've been in the gym, so you gonna be in shape, and that looks good. That black gonna look good when you in shape, bro. Girls like an all black fit, and if you tall, come on now. And if you ain't tall, it makes you look taller or gives you like a presence. Now I understand some of y'all like a little more personality with what you wear. Now even think about it like this: if you are wearing the black shirt, black jeans, and the white shoes, you can always add things to it. Maybe you can add like some white shoes that, you know, maybe got some designs in it, whether you like Air Force Ones, maybe you like a little nice dress shoe design with it. You can always add that. One of the things I'll do if I'm feeling a little more spontaneous that day and a little less generic, I just wear an oversized tee that I really like. I got a whole bunch of oversized graphic tees. I might still rock the black jeans with them. Now for me, you know, I'm kind of slim with, you know, longish legs. So I wear like a 32 on the width, and my length is about a 34. And that's mainly because most of my height comes from my legs. Now, you know, you got to figure out what works for you. You know, if the place has a fitting room, a perfect place that I think every man should go if they want to start learning how to dress better is H&M. That is one of the perfect places. That's cheap, nice looking clothing wear. Because let's be honest, no one's looking at the price tag of your clothes. No one's gonna find out you bought a shirt for $10 and gonna look at you crazy. Now granted, I kind of moved away from H&M, you know, with their shirts. I used to buy so many H&M black tees, but I stopped liking the quality of those shirts. So now we're True Classic. This is not a sponsor. True Classic, if you want to run me some money though, I'm not mad. But basically what I'm really trying to say is don't look like a bag of ass. You know, wear matching clothes. I used to be the kid wearing unmatching clothes. You would have thought my mom didn't like me. Like I used to be that kid. I'll be 100. And like I was saying before I cut myself off for some reason, you can always add to the fit. Like for instance, black shirt, black jeans, white shoes, add a chain in there. You can add a watch, you can add some sunglasses. I know a lot of y'all love tattoos. Y'all can get some tats. You can overdo them, whatever you want. Even lazy fits can look nice. That's another thing. Like gray sweatpants. There's so many fire gray sweatpants out there. Black sweatpants. They come in all different colors. Like I said, it should just look presentable and nice. Like I go to the mall in a lazy fit, right? I wear some gray sweatpants to the mall with some dirty Air Force Ones. I'll be honest. But I don't feel like I'm scaring the hose away when I walk into the mall. And you know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I just don't see it. And then we got other settings, maybe like church or somewhere where you have to dress pretty nice, whether it's business casual, whether it's business, right? Steve Harvey put it out perfectly. You don't have to do this if you want, but he says black suit, blue suit, tan suit, brown suit, and gray suit with 2 light blue shirts, 2 white shirts, and then 2 like cream colored shirts. And he says that makes so many different, like, I think he said around 75 different attires. And all of them go together. Now, you know, some might look better than others, and some might look better for certain occasions. Maybe this will look better for work. And then, you know, somewhere like a funeral service, you know, you got your all black with the white shirt, right? You know, for a prom, you know, the blue, that goes nice. And maybe, hey, add something in there, man. You know, I feel like a red blazer looks super fire with like some black pants. And then, hey, get like a black button-up shirt. A black button-up shirt I feel like goes super hard. I feel like all black looks crazy. I'm a fan of all black, if you haven't told. But yeah, like I said, social awareness. It's gonna take a bit of social awareness to have this. But yeah, learn how to dress for certain occasions and, you know, the effects. And that's just gonna build your confidence when you know you leave the house looking fly no matter what. Because dressing nice is going to go well with, you know, an in-shape body. Because like I said, you already been to the gym. You already been doing combat sports. You're just going down the cycle. We ain't done yet. And last up on this list, we got getting a good haircut that matches your head shape or matches you as a person. Now granted, I ain't got a haircut in a while. I get one tomorrow, so hop off my nuts. But man, I got younger cousins. I'll be at some of these high school events, or I go to like a fair and see all the younger dudes around. Bro, y'all gotta get some better cuts, bro. And it ain't even always the way you think it is, right? Sometimes it just looks a mess. Sometimes it's like you expect to get a job with this cut. Sometimes they be dyeing the hair weird colors, bro. I take some fault in that, right? When I was in high school, when Uzi was hot, when Yachty was hot, when Famous Dex was hot, because I was freshman at like the peak of their stuff, like EXO Tour Life Uzi. Freshman. Famous Dex was hot. I was freshman. Lil Yachty, One Night. I wasn't even in high school. And I love their music and I love their style, and I thought those were the coolest things to dye the dreads. So I entertained it. My fault. But if you ain't a rapper, you probably shouldn't be dyeing your dreads, my guy. Let alone pink or red or blue, looking like cotton candy and shit. Now, granted, you a grown man, or you at least in high school. Do what you want to do. Me personally, if you in high school, you dang near a grown man. So that's how I'm gonna address you as. But bro, you're gonna find out what your style is, kind of based on your head shape, your skin complexion, what you can and can't do at the time. Cause I was former military. Like, I've been out of active duty for less than a year, and obviously can't have dreads. So I had to find something that I really liked. And waves were a lot of maintenance. But because of the, slimness of my hair, I had to find like a wave thing that matched me, because I like the idea of waves. And waves with a fade just did me better. Now, having a high taper or even like a mid taper was solid. But I feel like when it's faded, when the waves are faded, those look better on certain skin complexions and head shapes. Like if you're in better shape, I feel like a fade looks better with your waves. And if you are in better shape, I think you can look better with less hair than a person who isn't in shape. No hate to like out of shape people. Like, I noticed how out of shape I was when I cut my hair off, because having less hair does make you, look bigger when you are big. I noticed that, my dark skinned brothers, they like the taper. I feel like the taper kind of does look better, whether they grow it out or just, keep the waves. And here we go. You should try and at least get a haircut every 2 weeks. Like I said, I used to be military. I had to get mine every 2 weeks based on my schedule. Not because, it was out of regs or nothing. It would take my hair like a month to get out of regs for it to be like touching my ears or something. And even then, that's stretching it. But if you could get your hair cut every week, especially, if it takes, a week for it to get back bad, mid taper, low taper, hey, do that. But I've learned having a fade that my hair doesn't take a week. Like, a week goes by, my hair is decentable, right? I don't need to spend in $30+ to get a fade every week. But yeah, and I know, it's kind of hate to people who do have the side of their head chopped off. I know it's weird to like, oh, you got a fade, man, what are you, in middle school? But certain people just look better with fades. Like I said, I feel like the slimmer you are, the more in shape you are, the more like triangular or diamond wise your face is, you look better with a fade. I don't have like the sharpest jawline, but I got like, it has a V there. So yeah, like I said, it's no hate to it, but it literally, there's so many different things. And even with like dreads, some people won't look that solid with dreads. Braids, some people probably won't look that solid with braids. And that depends on so many things. Head size, even like the size and shape of your ears can, make your hair seem a little crazier than it really is. Texture of the hair. I got 4C hair, so obviously, that's a little different from my fair skinned brothers or my Caucasian viewers. Shout out to y'all, Hispanic, Asian viewers. Let me get all of them out there. And that's gonna make you look fire once you get that routine going. Like I said, every 2 weeks, that's a routine. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna build it. Takes about 21 days. You gotta keep in mind, you already started dressing nicer and you're getting in more shape. So your face gonna be slimming up and you got the fashion going. And now the haircut, hey man, confidence up there. If you ain't confident times 20, by the time you get done with that, hey, let me know. I'll admit I was wrong, but that ain't gonna happen. Give it 6 months. Do that for 6 months. Combat sports, solid fashion, haircut at least every 2 weeks. Do that for 6 months. If you don't come back a better, confident version of yourself, let me know. I'll admit I was wrong. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna end the video. I've been talking for a little bit. I want to keep it short, but I can't stop talking. Appreciate you for watching. If you watch to the end, like, comment, subscribe. Go check out some of my other videos right there. Boom. Deuce.